Hey everybody, I'm Krazzyk, and in this video, I'm going to be reviewing Labyrinthine. I'm going to tell you the good things, the bad things, and if I think you should spend your money on this game, because I want to help you have the best indie gaming experience possible. Labyrinthine is a co-op horror puzzle game that was released just this October in 2020 by the guys at Valco Games Studios. And if you've been watching any of my Twitch streams since this October, you'll know that horror games are kind of my thing right now. By the way, quick shameless plug for my Twitch channel. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on Twitch at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you want to be there. Links in the bio. Like I said a minute ago, this game is all about solving puzzles and staying alive while you're trying to solve them and spooky things try to murder you. And you get to do all that with up to 3 friends, which is always a good time. And before we go any further, I do want to let you know that this game is in early access, so there's a lot more to come. But for now, we're going to talk about what the game currently has. With that in mind, let's talk about the good stuff. First off, the fact that this game is co-op is a huge win for me. There aren't very many horror or puzzle games that are co-op, so this fills a very specific niche, and I think it's awesome. And as far as the co-op experience goes, it's really nice. You can split up from your teammates and solve different puzzles or work on different parts of the same puzzle. Or when you're running around together, it can feel really spooky if you get split up by something. What is the what?
Oh no!
Oh no!
What?
Oh no!
Oh, it purposely split us up.
No.
Fine, dude.
No. The puzzles were pretty varied, and I think they were all just the right difficulty. Especially since this game is co-op, you need to have a wide variety of puzzles. That way, you can all kind of chip in on different puzzles. Although if you don't enjoy puzzles, it's probably not a game for you right off the bat. I know at least one of the guys in our gaming group kind of got a little bored with at least one of the puzzles because, honestly, it took us forever to figure out, and we kind of stumbled into the answer. For a large portion of the game, you're even in a large tree maze where the paths are narrow, you can't see very far in front of you, and lots of spooky things can happen. The developers even dropped in these little stupid ghosts that jump out and scare you. Those things seem to get us every single time, but I think the absolute best thing about this game is the atmosphere. I mean, even the idea of being in a giant tree maze where you can't really see anything is super spooky. It makes it feel like almost anything could happen at any time. And there's some really great designed set pieces that you go through in the game. There was this one time I got separated from my group, so all by myself I walked around and I ended up at this little children's playground. I started hearing children's laughter, and it was honestly like one of the scariest parts of the game for me. And after I stayed there long enough, a giant monster popped out of nowhere and tried to eat my face. There was a set piece with a bunch of clowns standing around a table, and you had to go up to the table and grab an item off of it. The whole time there was this spooky music playing, and then all of a sudden, the clowns would just snap their heads and look at you. And I think the best atmosphere that the game has to offer is inside this one ghost house. You end up in a house with a ton of locked doors, and you're trying to find keys in different rooms and then figure out which rooms they unlock and find more keys and just repeat that process over and over. And the whole time you're going through that process, things are moving, you're hearing crazy noises, doors are shutting and slamming all over the place. It really just makes you want to get out of there as fast as possible. Oh, I don't like this mirror.
Oh,
I don't like any of this right now.
you get it.
Please stop it. Oh my God. No! Oh, your beard scared me. Our whole group had a ton of fun in that part of the game, and I think that honestly it was probably the favorite for the whole group. And that atmosphere makes the game so much more tense and makes it so much more fun because you're trying to not die the whole time while you're finishing a puzzle. And it really makes you feel like anything could happen at any moment in time. So let's go ahead and move on to the bad stuff. Inventory management felt really clunky in this game, and I think there are 2 main reasons for it. First, most often the items are outside of your field of view when you first pull them up, so you can't really tell what you have in your hands. The second is just how long the character takes to pull out the next item and put away the current item. It just seems to take like an hour. I think these were intentional decisions by the developers to kind of fit the mood and theme of the game, make it a little bit more realistic, and make there be some pressure and some stakes when you're trying to switch items. But like I said, it just kind of makes it frustrating and clunky. I think they need to shorten the time it takes to switch between items or to pull out an item. I think if the items changed faster, it wouldn't feel as frustrating that the items were so low in the field of view, and then that would make a lot more sense. Next up are the different types of enemies. In our time playing the game, we probably saw 4 or 5 different enemy models. The problem was, out of those 4 or 5 enemy models, we really only found about 2 different types of mechanics for the enemies. The first one we found was basically this big enemy that if you get anywhere remotely close to it and you can see him and he's in your line of sight, he's going to hunt you down and he's going to murder you. You basically can't run away. And the rest of the enemies basically boiled down to run away from them. They will eventually lose you or get bored and stop chasing you. Now, don't get me wrong, these enemies are great by themselves, but when that's the only enemies you have in the game, we need a little bit more variety. I think it would be really cool to try to give each enemy model a little bit different of a mechanic and a way to fight back against the monsters. Like maybe a monster who, if you shine your light at it, it's pretty much gonna kill you. Or maybe a monster where if you shine your light at it, it blinds it and it can't see you anymore for a short period of time. Then the different mechanics could actually become part of the puzzle for the game. You could try to figure out each different enemy and remember which enemy does what thing and how you disable it. And I think adding some more ghost-like enemies would be a really great addition, especially in the places like the ghost house that we found. Honestly, one of the best mechanics in the game right now is one of the enemies will create a wall between you and another friend sometimes, and that is an incredible idea. I would say more stuff like that. Last is one that's a little bit different because I talked about it in the good stuff section at the beginning of the game, but the atmosphere. So earlier I mentioned the ghost house and how it was incredible as far as atmosphere goes. I think the reason for that is because every time I went into the ghost house, stuff would start to happen that would make me want to leave the ghost house as quickly as possible. Now, if you could take that exact same feeling and place it across the entire game, then it would be so much fun. I think the maze at the beginning had some of this, but then it slowly started to wear off because we were in the maze for so long. If you could turn that up to 10 for the rest of the areas in the game, it would be incredible. We would be so scared and it would be so intense the whole time while we're trying to figure out these puzzles, and that would make the game just that much better. So overall, right now, it would be a wait on this game for me, because it is early access and the game is really short. But at the same time, it definitely left me and all of my friends wanting more. Honestly, if this game continues the way it is, once it hits full release, I'll probably suggest that people buy it, especially if that release comes around the middle or beginning of September, so people can get it for the spook season. And if you're into spooky games, then let me know what your favorite spooky game is down below in the comments. And make sure to check out my Phasmophobia gameplay videos. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.